Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Days of Our Lives place two mysteries in our laps that may end up having the same answer, but unless the program can tie them to anything broader, the whodunits could very well end up falling hollow. One thing that is certain, though, is that we're moving towards a huge pair reshuffling that's going to shake up the canvas, at least for now. It's time! Doug's death is next week, on Thanksgiving, and that's when a ton of folks are going to start coming back. Hopefully, at least a couple of them stay and Doug's farewell lasts a little bit. It's not the most cheerful of circumstances, but I'm going to be so glad to dig into the emotional ties and familial dynamics that'll come with his farewell. And away from the poisoned cupcakes. Julie leans down to Doug, who is in his armchair. Their foreheads contact. Half-baked. Because we got a whole lot of poisoned baked goodies again this week, I may still have a little tainted biscuit PTSD. And clearly, so does Chanel. At least the poison, like the biscuit's medications, was non-lethal. People just got a bit sick, which is kind of funny, but it does hint to Hattie since the character's sort of silly. But we're back to the it's way too obvious problem. She's must be misdirection. Chanel scrunches her face as she sits on the bed next to a sleeping Johnny. The same with Leo and Javi. Leo's convinced his new beau is the new lady whistleblower, and I've noticed more than a few viewers leaning that way, too. But again, it's too clear to be true. A few people discussed Gwen being behind Lady W and the poison, and I think that's my favorite explanation. Hattie and Javi are simply two. Body and soul. It would be silly on top of silly. Someone like Gwen toying with things for her own purposes outside that soap is a whole lot more appealing to me. But if it's not her, I truly have no idea who's done this or why, unless it really is the usual suspects. The cat's out of the bag. Oh boy, joy. Why in the world would you tell Alex? I get it, you're bursting with a secret, but don't you have pals elsewhere you can confide in who don't know Johnny, Chanel, and everyone at Body and Soul? A shirtless Alex and a dressed Joy lean toward each other across the table at Alex's apartment. I can imagine Alex breaking down and telling Chanel. She'll break from Johnny. Stephanie's spending more time with Philip, so Chanel and Alex will grow closer and hook up. And that will leave Johnny and Joy together as the pariah relationship, so to speak. Days of Our Lives moves its pairings rapidly, and more it's appearing like Body and Soul is being utilized to shake a whole bunch up at once. And hey, terrific, fine. Fallout from some scandal changing the canvas is soap storytelling 101. But as I've mentioned previously, sometimes these couples don't even have time to breathe before they're swapped out, and I don't see any of those possible combinations lasting. At least Sarah and Xander appear relatively secure. We'll see if that holds by the time Gwen comes back, but for now, good times are here again. Sarah's walking, thus the miracle medication is doing miracles and Xander doesn't have any more incentive to try killing anyone. So that's good. Since Xander can't seem to control his violent instincts lately, I guess removing the chances to indulge in them will have to suffice. Unless he goes for Philip again. I can honestly see that entire couple switching above irritating off Alex at first if he feels Philip is a threat to him and Stephanie, even if they're not together. And that could force Alex to ally with Xander to throw Philip out of town, putting him at odds with his dad again, since Justin would rather Philip run Titan. Time and time again. I've got no problem with Kristen and Brady being dragged back together from time to time. He's correct, they're toxic, and he surely deserves something steady and healthy, but that makes them fun to watch. But my lord, Kristen, enough already. We're basically locked in a continual circle of, I hate you. You can't see Rachel. Wait, no, let's be friends for our daughter's sake, plus you're a nice person. Oh, I really like you, is it time to get back together? No, my manipulation didn't work. I detest you. You can't see Rachel. And then we start over. The worst part is Brady should be able to see this coming every single time, but somehow he doesn't. I mentioned Ava and Brady definitely going towards coupledom last week, but I have a feeling it'll just be a part of the cycle until John dies and Kristen and Brady bond over the loss. Kristen needs someone who can match her devious tactics to finally break this pattern, I think, but I don't sure who on the canvas would suit the criteria. Stray thoughts. This is how we know the body and soul folks aren't professionals. No one on a genuine soap, or any show, or any public figure, would eat baked goodies without them coming from someone they actually know and trust. I love how Aaron is pretty much walking around to everyone he encounters and dropping, "At least your brother isn't in jail for trying to murder someone" on them. It feels like a true teen. "Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about your problems, but did I tell you how much my life sucks?" Answer. But then, is he even 18 to legally take care of himself and Felicity? And on that topic, I imagine Aaron and Sophia are next up in the pairing queue. JJ's going to ask Gabby to help with the Kat/Chad fake out, and the two are going to wind up in danger, which is going to throw them back together as a pair. Mark my words, it's Thanksgiving, and family members are traveling home to Salem to celebrate, but this year's celebrations will be drastically different. The Hortons had already gone through hard patches lately, what with Sarah being run down and left paraplegic by Xander's mother, and the miraculous return of Abigail from the dead turned out to be one big fraud staged by Clyde Weston. However, things looked to be looking up when Dr. Rolf's serum allowed Sarah to walk again. Things are set to take a turn for the worse this week, though. Jennifer dials up her cousin Hope to let her know Jack went to wake up her father, Doug, but he had passed away in his sleep. For the previous few weeks, Doug's been ailing, as Julie had been reporting to family members, but she felt it was only a cold and he'd be back to himself in no time. At the hospital, Kayla has to break the news to Marlena that Doug has passed away. Eli and Lonnie, who have already returned home, remark on how Doug and Julie were the perfect match. Julie sits at her beloved Doug's bedside and wonders how she goes on without him. As famous flashbacks of Doug, Julie, Hope, and others are shown, with many more to come in the episodes this week, Julie declares, "I will love you forever." Be sure to read our Days of Our Lives spoilers to find out who Hope leans on, and what EJ wants from Gabby. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, November 22nd, 2024, are here. In tomorrow's episode, fans may expect Joy Wesley, Alex N. Hopkins, to share specifics about her sin to Alex Kyriakis, Robert Scott Wilson, Johnny DiMera, Carson Boatman, and Chanel Dupree DiMera's, Raven Bowen's, relationship gets far too tense. Philip Kyriakis, John Paul Lavoisier, endures an unpleasant reunion. Plus, Kristen DiMera, Stacey Hayduke, wants the truth from Brady Black, Eric Martsolf. Keep reading and let's chat about what is coming up in the next episode of the Peacock soap opera. Joy Wesley explains DOL teasers for Friday, November 22nd state that Joy will give Alex insights about her history with Johnny. Joy probably doesn't go into specifics about the actual act, but how she ended up meeting Johnny. When Joy tells that Johnny thought Chanel cheated on him, he will learn once again how his actions have affected other people.